In 2010, GetUp launched a campaign to support the rights of WikiLeaks. At the time, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange had been branded a terrorist, with some US politicians and media figures calling for his arrest and summary execution.
This guy's a traitor, a treasonous.
He should be killed.
You should take this guy out.
This was after WikiLeaks exposed corruption in the global banking system and military videos showing alleged war crimes.
We've seen revelations including the fact that the US was spying on UN diplomats in breach of its international obligations, war crimes in Iraq, war crimes in Afghanistan, crimes against humanity, widespread corruption, use of torture.
Here in Australia, Prime Minister Gillard described the actions of Assange and WikiLeaks as, quote, illegal.
It's a grossly irresponsible thing to do and an illegal thing to do.
The Prime Minister made those comments even though our Attorney General confirmed WikiLeaks, an Australian company, had broken no laws here or overseas. GetUp argued WikiLeaks is a media organisation whose activities should be protected by the First Amendment right to free speech. GetUp members took out a full-page ad in the US about the issue.
This full-page ad in the New York Times today by almost 100,000 Australians titled "WikiLeaks are not terrorists."
Right now, Julian Assange is holed up inside the Ecuadorian embassy in London, having sought political asylum to avoid extradition to America, where he could face life in prison and potentially the death penalty if charged with espionage.
This is the first time, to my knowledge, in history that an Australian citizen has felt that he had to seek asylum from a foreign state.
Julian is also wanted in Sweden for questioning over allegations of sexual misconduct unrelated to his work with WikiLeaks. Assange has not been charged with anything in Sweden. In America, documents released 2 weeks ago reveal Assange has been branded an enemy of the state by the US military. He faces immediate incarceration in a military prison, a military trial, and potentially life imprisonment. GetUp members have been calling for increased action on this issue. And so GetUp recently travelled to London to conduct the first face-to-face Australian interview with Julian Assange since he sought political asylum.
Welcome to my home away from home. What GetUp members should understand is that there has been a lot of spin because we have a lot of opponents. From the very beginning, I had been a free speech campaigner from my early 20s. Free speech is a means to a particular end. And the end that we are trying to get to is that there is a more just environment.
But the more shocking the revelations became, the more WikiLeaks was attacked.
Those counterattacks were vicious, and they crossed all sections of society in the United States.
There were also the comments by Prime Minister Gillard.
It's an illegal thing to do.
MasterCard Australia, in justifying why it has made a blockade that prevents any Australian MasterCard holder from donating to WikiLeaks, used that statement by Julia Gillard this year as justification. So the effects of this statement are ongoing, and they directly affect the financial viability of WikiLeaks.
Did you consider that statement to be defamatory?
We are considering suing for defamation. So I have hired lawyers in Sydney, and they are investigating the different ways in which we can sue Gillard over this statement.
Assange also rejects claims by the Australian government that he is receiving full consular support.
When there's statements made that there are 63 consular contacts, they are counting emails that they send to my lawyer asking for some future possible appointment. I haven't seen any member of the Australian embassy or consulate since I was in prison in 2010. And even then, all they did was bring some notepads, pens, etc.
Assange is currently living in this small room where the GetUp interview took place. He says he's there to avoid extradition to America, which he believes could occur if he's forced by UK authorities to go to Sweden.
Julian takes these allegations incredibly seriously, and he has always wanted to clear his name. He has continued to offer his testimony from London in order to resolve this case.
The problem, according to Julian's London-based lawyer Jennifer Robinson, is that under Swedish law, Assange can be sent to America to face potential espionage charges in a US military court before ever being questioned by the Swedish authorities.
He has always been and continues to try to seek a resolution where he can answer this case while not risking onward extradition to the United States. If the Swedish authorities were really interested in getting to the bottom of this and resolving this case sensibly, they could have come to London to get his testimony, as is permitted by their own procedures.
For now, Assange remains in a kind of legal catch-22. He's been granted asylum in Ecuador, but he can't get there because the UK authorities will arrest him if he leaves the embassy. You have young children. When did you last see them?
For security reasons, I don't want to say specifics, but it has severely interfered with my family life. My family have to change their name, move their location, go into hiding. I can't go and visit my family. I can't do things that are important to many people. I can't see the skyline. I can't visit my homeland.
Robinson maintains that all the issues could be resolved if the Australian government simply sought a binding guarantee from the US that they would not try to extradite Assange. GetUp members should demand that the Australian government demand of the US government that it stop investigating, stop persecuting the WikiLeaks organisation, which is an Australian non-profit organisation, and it stop doing the same to me as an Australian citizen.
It would be wonderful if GetUp members could be putting pressure on their local member and on our government to do what they should have done months and months ago, which is to seek an assurance from the United States that they will not prosecute Julian for his publishing activities associated with WikiLeaks.